The millipede does not rush. It never has. Long before speed became a survival advantage, before claws sharpened and eyes evolved to track motion, the millipede was already moving slowly across the surface of the Earth. Its pace is not a limitation but a declaration, a commitment to a strategy built on patience, endurance, and time itself. Among the first animals to leave the oceans and claim the land, millipedes emerged in a world that was still learning how to breathe. The atmosphere was different then, richer in oxygen, heavy with moisture, and filled with vast forests of primitive plants. In this environment, the millipede found its purpose not as a hunter, but as a processor. It fed on what others left behind, breaking down dead vegetation and returning nutrients to the soil, creating the foundation for terrestrial ecosystems. Its body tells this story clearly. Composed of dozens, sometimes hundreds, of repeating segments, each bearing 2 pairs of legs, the millipede appears almost mechanical in its design. This repetition is not accidental. It allows the animal to distribute movement across its entire body, creating a slow, wave-like motion that conserves energy and maintains stability on uneven ground. Where a fall might cripple a faster animal, the millipede simply continues forward. There is no rush because there is no chase. Millipedes are not predators. They do not hunt. They do not ambush. Their world is measured in layers of leaf litter, rotting wood, and soil particles rich with microorganisms. This is where they thrive, hidden beneath the surface, working continuously without recognition. Evolution rewarded this lifestyle with durability. The millipede's exoskeleton provides protection not through aggression, but through persistence. When threatened, it does not strike. It curls inward, transforming its long body into a tight spiral, shielding its vulnerable underside. Some species release defensive chemicals, sharp, bitter, sometimes toxic substances that signal one thing clearly: this is not worth eating. These chemical defenses are not weapons of conquest. They are deterrents, designed to end conflict before it begins. In this way, the millipede avoids escalation. It survives by convincing the world to leave it alone. Its senses are simple but sufficient. Millipedes do not rely on sharp vision. Many are nearly blind, navigating instead through touch and chemical cues. Antennae probe the ground ahead, reading the environment through texture and scent. Every movement is informed by contact with the earth itself, reinforcing the millipede's role as a creature deeply embedded in the soil rather than separated from it. This intimacy with the ground defines its relationship with the ecosystem. As millipedes feed on decaying plant matter, they fragment it into smaller pieces, increasing surface area for bacteria and fungi. This accelerates decomposition, releasing nutrients that plants depend on. Without millipedes and organisms like them, forests would choke on their own waste, buried beneath layers of undecomposed material. Despite this importance, millipedes rarely attract attention unless they appear in large numbers. Seasonal rains or shifts in humidity can drive them above ground, where humans encounter them unexpectedly. These moments often lead to fear or disgust, reactions shaped by unfamiliarity rather than danger. Millipedes do not bite. They do not seek confrontation. They simply follow moisture, food, and shelter. Their survival across hundreds of millions of years is not a story of dominance, but of relevance. As environments changed, millipedes remained useful. As predators rose and fell, millipedes continued recycling. They did not need to become faster, smarter, or stronger. They needed only to remain essential. In the quiet darkness beneath fallen leaves, the millipede continues its work, repeating motions perfected long before mammals existed. It does not evolve quickly because it does not need to. Its role is stable, its purpose clear, and in a world obsessed with progress, the millipede endures as proof that sometimes, survival is simply about staying useful. Reproduction in millipedes mirrors everything else about their existence: deliberate, efficient, and unconcerned with spectacle. There are no elaborate displays, no battles for dominance, no urgency. Instead, reproduction is woven quietly into the rhythms of soil, moisture, and decay. When conditions align, adequate humidity, stable temperatures, and abundant organic matter, millipedes continue the cycle that has carried them across geological time. Most millipedes reproduce sexually, with males transferring sperm using specialized appendages rather than direct contact. This process is precise, evolved to function in dark, confined spaces where visibility is irrelevant. Eggs are laid carefully in soil chambers or beneath decomposing matter, protected from desiccation and predators. There is no parental care after this point. Survival, once again, is statistical. Enough offspring endure, and the system holds. Juvenile millipedes hatch with only a few segments and legs, bearing little resemblance to the long, armored adults they will become. Growth is incremental. With each molt, new segments are added, legs multiply, and the body elongates. This gradual assembly allows the animal to remain functional at every stage of development. There is no vulnerable moment of transformation, no single point of collapse. Even growth is distributed. Defense follows the same philosophy. Millipedes do not rely on speed or aggression because those strategies demand energy they have no reason to spend. Instead, they invest in chemistry. Many species produce defensive secretions containing compounds such as benzoquinones or cyanogenic substances. These chemicals are not designed to kill predators outright, but to repel them, to create an unpleasant, memorable experience that discourages future attempts. The effectiveness of this strategy lies in restraint. By avoiding lethal force, millipedes reduce the likelihood of escalation. Predators learn quickly. A mouthful of bitter chemicals or a burning sensation is enough to teach avoidance. The millipede survives not by winning fights, but by ensuring fights rarely happen. Species diversity within millipedes is vast, spanning thousands of forms adapted to specific microhabitats. Some inhabit tropical rainforests, growing to impressive sizes, their bodies thick and heavily armored. Others live in temperate woodlands or subterranean environments, smaller, paler, almost invisible against soil and stone. Despite this variation, the core design remains unchanged: segmented body, slow movement, detritivorous diet. This consistency is not stagnation. It is optimization. Millipedes have refined a form that works across climates, continents, and eras. Where forests exist, millipedes follow. Where plant matter accumulates, they appear. Their presence is so reliable that ecologists often use them as indicators of soil health. Rich, active soil hosts millipedes. Degraded soil does not. Their interaction with other organisms is constant but understated. Microbes benefit from the fragmentation of organic material. Plants benefit from nutrient release. Fungi spread more efficiently through soil disturbed gently by millipede movement. Even predators benefit indirectly, feeding on animals supported by healthier ecosystems. The millipede sits quietly at the foundation of these interactions, rarely acknowledged but always involved. Human encounters with millipedes often strip away this context. When they enter homes during periods of heavy rain or drought, they are seen as intruders rather than refugees responding to environmental stress. Yet even here, they pose no real threat. They do not infest. They do not multiply indoors. They wander, seeking moisture, and perish when conditions fail them. This vulnerability outside the natural environment highlights an important truth: millipedes are not adaptable generalists in the human sense. They do not thrive everywhere. They thrive where systems function. Their success depends on stability beneath the surface, on soil structure, organic input, and microbial life. Remove these, and millipedes disappear quietly, without protest. In their slowness, there is precision. In their simplicity, resilience. Millipedes do not conquer landscapes, they maintain them. They do not respond to crisis with innovation, they respond with continuity. As long as leaves fall and wood decays, millipedes will persist, adding segment after segment, generation after generation. Beneath the fallen leaves, where damp earth breathes in silence, there dwells a creature seldom praised, yet immeasurably essential. The millipede moves not with haste, nor with menace, but with purpose older than memory itself. Its body, long and ringed like a living chronicle, bears countless legs that ripple in solemn rhythm. To the untrained eye it appears monstrous. To nature, it is a servant of order. An ancient lineage. Long before the rise of beasts of tooth and claw, before the thunder of dinosaurs shook the land, the millipede already walked the soil. More than 400 million years have passed since its kind first emerged, and still it endures. Empires fall, ages burn away, the millipede remains. Its true calling. This creature is no hunter. It seeks no blood. Its task is humbler, yet far greater in consequence. It feeds upon decay. Leaves long dead, wood softened by time, the remnants of life return to dust, these are its sustenance. In consuming what has ended, the millipede grants new beginnings. The soil grows rich, roots find strength, forests are reborn. Thus, without fanfare, it sustains the living world. Of defense, not aggression. When threatened, the millipede does not charge nor strike. Instead, it coils upon itself, becoming a living knot of patience. From its body it may release bitter chemicals, a warning written not in sound, but in scent and sting. It is not cruelty, it is survival. Those who learn this lesson rarely forget it. A creature of endurance. The millipede teaches a truth often ignored: speed is not the measure of victory. Ferocity is not the measure of power. It advances slowly, yet it outlives storms, fires, and ages of extinction. Where others rush and vanish, it persists. In its silence lies resilience. In its patience, dominance. Final reflection: should the millipede vanish, the land would harden, the soil would starve, and life above would falter. Though unnoticed, it is a pillar upon which forests stand. It asks for no reverence. Yet it deserves remembrance. There are creatures that rule by terror, whose names echo through legend and fear. And then there are those whose dominion is silent, whose power is woven into the very fabric of the living world. The millipede belongs to the latter. It does not roar, it does not chase, it does not conquer, yet without it, the land itself would fail. The invisible web of balance. Every forest is an agreement. Life feeds upon life, and death, in turn, nourishes what comes after. The millipede stands at the threshold between these realms. It is the keeper of the passage, the unseen hand that ensures decay does not become rot, and endings do not become waste. As it burrows and feeds, it breaks the earth open, allowing air and water to reach the roots below. Seeds find purchase. Fungi spread the quiet networks. The soil breathes again. This is not chance. It is design refined by time. Threats born of ignorance. Yet even the patient are not invincible. As forests are cleared, as soil is poisoned and paved, the millipede's ancient pathways collapse. It cannot flee cities. It cannot outrun machines. Its slow wisdom is no defense against a world that no longer waits. And so it disappears, not with spectacle, but with absence. When the millipede is gone, decay stalls. Nutrients thin, the earth grows brittle. What seems insignificant reveals itself as essential, though often too late. A lesson written in segments. In the millipede's many rings lies a lesson for those who would listen. Survival is not always dominance. Progress is not always speed. Strength may dwell in persistence rather than force. It has endured ice ages, mass extinctions, and the slow grinding of continents. It will endure still, if the ground beneath it remains alive. Closing words. When next you walk through woodland, and the soil yields softly beneath your feet, remember that beneath you, unseen, ancient lives continue their work. They do not ask for praise. They require only space, patience, and time. The millipede does not shape the world loudly. It shapes it forever, and in that quiet labor, it reminds us that the greatest forces are often those we overlook.